Constitution review matter. This time we've been joined by a lawyer, Mr. Emmanuel Umoren. We're good to have you join us on this program.
Thank you very much.
Well, very quickly, all of this talk about Constitution review. We've been on it from Monday, and we're still looking at it. We're keeping our eye on this. What would you say is the sore point of this whole talk of having a review of the Constitution?
Well, the major problem with our Constitution is that originally we did not discuss the Constitution. So
everyone seemed to be talking about that.
We never discussed the Constitution. The military, if you recollect, there was a grouping that Abacha set up, and along the line, when they were trying to have a meeting in Federal Palace, Eco Hotel, there were some. It was one of the first political meetings that they had, and some thugs, in quote, rushed them and dispersed them. And at the end of the day, nobody adopted that document. When Abacha died suddenly, because Abacha was trying to transit from military president to civilian president, and he died suddenly. The next thing, Abdul Salam came with his 6 months transition, and they gave us a constitution by, in quote, by decree.
But we were thankful at that time.
No, you see, it's like a very hungry child that needs protein. If you give him a morsel of bread, even if he's diabetic, he will eat it. That would end up killing him. But what we needed was an opportunity, even within that 6 months, for us to discuss our problems. You see, these issues we have now, these problems we have a fundamental problem in this country, which is the fact that our economy is totally wrongly run. You cannot have a country where you have every month end, people go to Abuja to go and collect revenue. A governor that you knew, that was your friend, that could not buy beer for 12 people, suddenly becomes a governor, is one of the richest men in the world, he buys an aircraft for himself, he runs with about 15 vehicles in a convoy. How do you expect that person to think of governance?
But how is that the fault of sharing money at the end of the month? Because some people will argue that the reason why that system was adopted was so that there will be equitable distribution of funds.
You see, if you earn your salary and I come and take from you, even if you have a cousin, a brother or a sister that takes money from you and does not work for the money, that person will not appreciate the value of that money. If he's an adult, maybe if he's a minor, yes, but if he's an adult, he will not. Go all over. Look at siblings. All of us have siblings that do not want to work. There are always problems. How do you have an economy where people wake up, you create a local government that cannot fund itself?
Now, how do we differentiate between, say, siblings that don't want to work and siblings that are working but don't earn enough?
There's a difference between earning enough. You see, I've said this before. Between 1999 and 2007, the money Nigeria earned was more than the money Nigeria earned from 1900 to 1999. Now, if we had that large sum of money, what did they do with it? We're distributing the money.
And everything is down to the Constitution.
Yes. The fact is this: why do you have to take? Why would I not? If I had an oil well in my community, and I gave it out, I will give terms and conditions to the oil company. Don't flare gas. If you flare gas, if I have a property, and you come, I tell you don't pound the yam upstairs. If you pound it, I give you quick notice. In the US, there are companies, there are oil companies where people are drilling oil in estates where people live. The other day I was going to Port Harcourt. From the first, as we're coming down, the first you saw was gas flare. The next place, there are about 6 to 7 gas flaring points coming into Port Harcourt. You are coming to Calabar from the air. You see the same thing. For over 50 years, we've been flaring gas. Why would they? Because the decisions about those people were taken in Lagos. From Lagos, they moved to Abuja. How many oil companies do you see have their headquarters in the Niger Delta? Why would they come to Lagos or go to Abuja? In the 70s and 80s until the 90s, Eket did not have any road. It was until Mobile moved to Eket That's when they start having roads. Third roads. So you see, we must understand, be honest with ourselves. It's not politics that's the problem. The reason why you have Boko Haram issues are because of this fight for power. Because the reason why you have this much fight for power is because it is economic power you get when you get a political power.
And you link that to the Constitution?
Of course, the problem. Because if we had devolved and clearly stated that every man pays tax for what you earn, this problem of the viral on the internet about the subsidy people who are involved, so they have paid so much money to the president's campaign organization, will not be there. Because America, yes, in America you fund, they have the big donors, but you donate and people check your tax records.
So what can the solutions be at this point in time, now that we all know that we have to look at the Constitution a second time? And you say because the first one was forced upon us by those we never elected to do the task. What should we be doing at this point?
Babangida said something 6 months ago, that there are certain things that will make him go to war again at his age. One was, if we want to break up Nigeria. Two, if you want to change economic perception, I mean the way we run our economy from capitalism to something else. Now, if we're running capitalism requires certain things. One, there must be labor. Two, there must be capital. Three, there must be land. So you must build up. You must invest. I say it, and I'm not scared to say it. Dangote has been importing rice for over 30 years, 40 years in this country. Where are his rice farms? Where are they? Is it only cement? We all know you Dangote from secondary school, university, from importing rice. Where are his rice farms? Kia, you call Kia today. They started in Korea by selling second-hand clothing. Today they are building the biggest ships. They have the biggest shipyards in the world. What are we doing about our country?
You know,
understand? We must be honest with ourselves. Because I'm sorry. The fact is this: that as long as you run a rent economy, nothing can go right. The young ones do not aspire to build anything. All you want to do is know somebody.
Umoren, that's what we're saying. What should we do now with regards to fixing this?
That's what I'm saying. I said, Babangida said you can go to war if we want to change from capitalism. Let us run through capitalism. Let us allow owners of land. What Solo said it. What belongs to the land what is on the land belongs to the land. If you own land, or you use what you have on your land, and pay tax to the government. Government can earn 40%, 50% of tax. That's no problem. Sorry, you see, if you look at how did the Silicon Valley develop? It's oil, Texas oil and California oil money that they used to invest there and invest in people's brains. If the man that has oil sees so much money, he will think of building a farm. Lagos State can build a farm in Benue State with all the money they have. And the Benue State, because of the land mass and the kind of good soil they have, can develop farming and develop a lot of business around there. But as long as the governor of Benue State goes to Abuja to collect money, why will he think about that?